Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm excited to take you with me to experience my first online stitch retreat, which is the Midsummer Stitch hosted by Lindy Stitches. It is bright and early on a Saturday morning, and I am ready to dive into everything that this event has to offer. So I'm sitting in my craft office hobby room with everything laid out in front of me. So I'll do a bit of a Stitchy setup tour for you in a little bit. But I watched Lindy Stitch's video about how to prepare for Midsummer Stitch, and she recommended really taking some time to get your spot ready so that you are comfortable and prepared to stitch and socialize all day. So I took that very seriously, and I wiped my schedule all of Friday night so that I could dedicate time to preparing the stitchy spot. So the goal of this video is to kind of give you a glimpse at what an online retreat looks like and what my experience was like attending Midsummer Stitch. So let's hop into the browser and join the event. Okay, hello, this is 8 p.m. of day one of Midsummer Stitch. It has been such a fantastic day. I've met so many wonderful people and learned about so many amazing designers, and I'm just in absorbed mode. I'm still recovering from everything that I've been shown and learned and everything, but I'm gonna try and do a small recap of what today has been like so far. Today started off with just kind of getting the bearings of the platform, doing a little bit of hopping into stitch rooms, as well as doing some of the speed dating, which has been so fun to meet people. And I've even met some of you who watch my videos, which was really surreal and really exciting. So if we were able to chat, it was so lovely to meet you. We also had a couple of sessions today. So we had a live Flosstube from the Sunshine Stitchers. That was such a fun time. The second the session started, I was cackling. They had such incredible energy, and I was just laughing from the beginning to end. They had such wonderful projects to showcase. Some were so beautiful and some were just plain hilarious. If you were there, you know what I'm talking about. And I really, really enjoyed watching them, and it was an immediate subscribe from me. And if you haven't checked them out yourself already, please go do yourself a favor and check them out now. And then we were treated to some designer meet and greets, which was one of the things I was most excited about. So it started off with a meet and greet from Kat from Sprouting Lupine, who was the exclusive pattern that I was most excited about for this retreat. I'll try and put a picture of it here. And it was so lovely to hear from her and hear a little bit about her process and her background. And it was just a really interesting way to get to know the person behind the project that you're stitching. And then we had a meet and greet with Jessica from JetX Stitch. And holy moly, I feel like that session should have come with a warning. I was just so unprepared for all of the projects that she was going to show us and the sneak peeks that she showed us. I feel like the entire cross stitch community was shaking in their boots when she decided to showcase the tiniest bit of a tease of a new project that's coming. It was blueberry themed and very much in line with Cherry Magpie. So, needless to say, I'm very excited because I do feel like I missed the train a little bit for Cherry Magpie. So to know that there's something in a similar vein on its way, I will be there on day one, and I will be monitoring her socials very closely until that is properly released. That was amazing. And then I just came out of the session with Lap and Loop, where they kind of took a behind the scenes look at their home hand dyeing fabric business, which was really interesting. And they're such wonderful people. And uh, it's just, uh, I feel like the really nice thing about all of this is being able to learn a little bit about the people behind all of these designers or businesses that we've become so fond of. I had to make myself a tea because I could start to feel the social battery draining, but it's only 8 o'clock and there's still a couple more speed dating things that I want to attend, and I also really want to sit in some of the stitch rooms for a little bit longer. But that's my 8 p.m. check-in. I'm gonna hop into the 8:30 networking speed dating event and then just do some more stitching for the rest of the evening. And if I am too tired by the end of tonight, I'll try and do a recap in the morning. Otherwise, I'll see you shortly. Okay, I am back, but only for a short period of time because I am so tired. It is 12:30 a.m. I've just finished the final speed dating session and I am drained. It was such a lovely day. I don't think I have energy to recap any further. So I will see you tomorrow at day 2 of Midsummer Stitch. Hello and welcome back. This is Midsummer Stitch day 2. Wow, did I wake up tired this morning? I was hoping to get on a little bit earlier, but when my alarm went off, all of the exhaustion from the socialization, I think, hit me a little bit harder than I expected. And so a little bit of a later start today, but I'm excited to be here and get started. There is an absolutely jam-packed agenda for today, including quite a few Flosstube lives, some of speed dating rounds, and a couple of main stage events that I'm really looking forward to. In particular, the community whip parade, I think sounds like so much fun. I've only heard such amazing fun things about it, so very excited to see what that ends up all being like. But in the meantime, I'm getting myself reorganized in my stitchy spot. I had to do a bit of a tidy up because after the chaos of yesterday, the station got a little messy again. So we are resetting and regrouping and regrounding ourselves. So something that I think I forgot to do yesterday in just the thick of learning and getting myself situated in the event was doing my Stitchy Set Up Tour. So I took some footage, I think, from the just to show you what I had going on, but I hadn't really explained what I did to get set up for this. So I figured I'd do that a little bit now. I really wanted to be able to add a second camera so that I could have like a face cam like this and a stitching camera. So I had mentioned that I took all of Friday evening to kind of start troubleshooting that and experimenting with what I wanted that to look like. And ultimately, I was successful with getting something set up. So this is the face cam. This is kind of what I have been using for most of the speed networking or speed dating rounds and anytime I'm just chatting with somebody. But I ended up being able to add this very nice second camera. Whoa. Very fun. Whoa. I feel like a streamer. And so this is because everybody's always asking, what are you stitching on? And I found that when I was trying to put stuff up to the camera like this, you can see how like dark it gets and it doesn't always focus very nicely. So that's what triggered wanting to do something like this. So I just have a second camera right over here. And if I go like this, you can see, oh, hello. And so this is where I'm doing all of my stitching and been trying to keep this space as organized as possible. I've got my mouse and monkey discard pouch here, my needle bed, and just all of my tools right here. And then the floss that I'm working on is also right here. I've got my pattern right here on the other side. You can't really see that, but that's okay. But yeah, this is what it's looking like when I'm stitching. So when anybody asks me what I'm working on, I can just cut to this camera I can zoom in as much as I want. But I've been mostly keeping it kind of like that, like there. I guess other things in the setup, I have my stitching, like you can see, set up on my boom arm and clip, so it's been really nice and easy to switch out everything when I need it. I'm using my boom mic. Again, everything can move closer or further away from me, which makes it really nice and comfortable, so I can even lean back here when I need a little bit of a break. I have... Obviously, I've put a camera in front of me here. I opted out for a better camera than my webcam just to, again, I enjoy the technical side of these things, so I wanted to do that. And then my partner brought home a light for me to use to make sure that everything is lit and looks pretty. I made a couple of changes to my background. I added some of the projects that are usually more in my stitchy corner into the background here, just so that it was a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. I put, where is it here, my candle warmer here just for some ambiance, especially as the day goes on and the sun goes down. It gets very dark in here, and so that's been helping to keep things feel pretty cozy. That all being said, the extra setup that I've done is completely unnecessary in order to attend a virtual event. This is just something that I enjoy doing, that sparks joy for me. Do not feel like anything more than just your iPhone or webcam is needed in order to have an amazing time at an event like this. But this was just a me thing, enjoying going a little bit extra. Some other things, I guess, as a recap of yesterday, it was such a great time, and I think I forgot to mention, or maybe I did, I don't know, I'll see when I'm editing all of this, that I ended up getting a finish. So oh gosh, don't look at the back, embarrassing. I ended up finishing the bottom of the biscornu that I've been working on, and I don't think I've shown it here yet, but I did finish the top since my last video as well. So I officially have all the stitching done for this biscornu, and now the real challenge is going to be learning how to actually fully finish it together. And what a great time to finish something like this is when you have access to so many more experienced stitchers than you. So I've been getting some really great advice from some people that I've met in stitching rooms and the speed networking, and I'm excited to get this fully finished. So I am going to set this aside for the rest of this weekend so I can do some more research and finish this when I feel a little bit more adequately prepared. But this was my finish yesterday. Right now, I am stitching on Cozy Living right now. I think I might pivot to some of my other whips shortly, just because I did put a couple hundred stitches in this last night, and I want to change it up a little bit. But I'll give you an afternoon update and let you know where I ended up going with everything. So I'm going to hop back into the event, and I will see you shortly. All right, this is my afternoon check-in for day 2, and today is going so great. I did some speed dating. I just finished the Flosstube live with Stitchman Darcy and Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery, and it was so amazing to hear them speak about their process and just kind of talk about their journey in general. And it was a really great session, and I'll be headed into some more speed dating soon, and then I'm probably going to post up at a stitching table for a little while and make some progress on some projects. But in the meantime, while I was watching the unfinished stitchers, I decided that I would do a new start. So I got myself the Tiny Modernist Dark Forest exclusive pattern from the shop, and I just kitted up from whatever I had in stash. I had pretty good luck with most of the colors, and I happen to have a perfect fabric for it already. I'll show you what I have. So I have this pup crawl even weave that I got from Stitch North. This is a 28 count, and it is pretty similar to the model stitch. It might be slightly different, but I thought that it worked really well, and I thankfully had most of the colors I needed in stash. I did change out these 3 colors, partially because I did not have the correct colors in stash, and also I kind of just like the way that these ones looked together a bit more than the pattern, so decided to switch them out, and I'm excited to see how it goes. I have decided to stitch 2/1, so we're working pretty microscopic today, and I don't know. I tried doing over 2 at first, and I don't know, my brain just like does not register it very well. I feel like as I was counting, I was immediately making mistakes like 3 stitches in, and I said, "Okay, let's start over and go with 1/1 even though it's challenging in a very different way, but I like the tiny stitches. I think it's really satisfying. This is not much to show when I'm going into rooms now, but that's okay. The colors are nice, and I'm sure folks will be excited to see the exclusive pattern being worked on. So I'm going to head into speed dating and some stitch rooms, and I will talk to you in a little bit. So today I also was thinking that why not take the opportunity of being around all of these stitchy people and try and take some time and actually have some conversation that I can share with you guys here. So I have been doing some little micro interviews with some of my friends or some people that I've met that I thought would be helpful to learn a little bit more about the virtual retreat experience and just how they are enjoying Midsummer Stitch. So I'm going to start putting a collection of little interviews that I took throughout the day here. So enjoy.
So yeah, so this is my, I think where we're at, 1, 2, 3, the third online event that Lindy Stitches put on that I've been to. So I started this year. And I think it's a major thing for me because, as a relatively new stitcher, as a relatively younger stitcher, going to physical retreats or sound really cool when you see on Flosstube, but it takes a lot of resources, a lot of time, money, and all that. So having this one that you can do from the comfort of your home, but still have the opportunity to meet new people, have exclusives, is such an amazing thing to have that it seemed like a no-brainer to come.
What would you say is the highlight of your Midsummer Stitch 2025 so far?
Oh, I think the meet and greets with the exclusive designers, because I love a lot of the exclusive designers. So Kat from Sprouting Lupine and Jessica from Jet X Stitch, seeing their meet and greets and hearing how they got inspired and how their history of designing. My favorite thing to do at these events is the whip speed dating, which is very intimidating for some people, but I feel like it's a very nice thing to kind of give another avenue rather than the stitching tables, which might fill up very fast and have a lot of people, to have a one-on-one. And it's only 5 minutes at the end of the day.
What would you say to somebody who is a bit too nervous to try speed dating? What would some advice be?
Though the biggest thing is that you're not locked into it for the full 30 minutes. You have a window to say, you click a button that says, I'm ready, and then it matches up. So if you do one and it's not your flavor, it's not your thing, you can easily head back to the lobby, head back to the main stitching. So I think that's kind of, it's good to have for people kind of exit scenario if it's just not your thing. So it's good to know that, because I think, hearing speed dating and, physical speed dating, you think you're stuck in the time slot forever, even if you don't like it. But you do have a chance to head out for any reason.
Yeah, no, that has been a very common sentiment that I've spoken to a number of people about of just you can decide your comfort level at any point in the day, and it can fluctuate as much or as infrequently as you would like, which is really, really nice. Do you have any stitching that you are able to share with us that you've been working on this retreat?
Yes. So I really like to do something where either if it's an exclusive or just the start that I have on hand, I like to start it at the event and try to stitch on it for most of the time just to see how much progress I can get in a weekend when I'm really locked in. So this one for this event is of course the JetX exclusive, Summer's Day, I believe it's called. And I'm doing it on a 20 count Ada in Wildfires by the Stitch Me, which is the group start.
It is so beautiful. That fabric is so complementary to the colors. It's going to look so fantastic when it's completed. Do you have any fully finishing goals once you finish your stitching?
Oh, that's a great question. I've never done the flat finish that's like there's a specific name, but the
The flat
models,
folds?
yeah, how it's finished, I do want to do one because I think that's a very like not too hard, especially if I've done ornaments before. And it's kind of nice because you don't need to like with a frame like have all the accessories on the wall and within the frame. You can just it's self presenting by just doing that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think that's the model stitch that Jessica had done was on a flat fold, and I love her
Yeah.
color selection of that flat fold. So if I end up dabbling there, I will definitely take inspiration from her fully finishing.
Yeah.
And my last question is, what would you tell somebody that is on the fence of joining or trying out a virtual event like this?
I think once again that it's set up in a way that you can really choose your comfort level. Like there's the stitching room that I haven't gone to, but it's like labeled for lurkers. So if you're more like camera off or just silent, you can be in that. Um, and there's like other opportunities to make it more comfortable for your own liking. And once again, because it's online, you're at the comfort of your home. You can choose, like, you know, when you take breaks, when you have to go do different errands, you don't have to be on constantly unless that's what you do want to do. So again, it's a lot more control than I feel sometimes with, even though I haven't been on physical retreats, you know, if you're somewhere physically, it's kind of hard to like take a break unless you go physically somewhere else.
So I'm Kendall from Stitch by Kendall. You can find me on Instagram as X Stitch by Kendall and on Etsy as Stitch by Kendall.
What has brought you to Midsummer Stitch? How did you find out about it, and why did you decide to participate?
I found out about it through you, and then I started seeing it everywhere. A bunch of people were posting about it on Instagram. I looked into it. It sounded really interesting. I've been interested in some of the retreats and meeting more stitching friends, but like the retreats are expensive and like a whole weekend commitment. So this sounded like a nice way to kind of dip my toe in the water of a retreat. Um, and so I just bit the bullet and said, $15 ain't gonna hurt. I'll just try it out, see how I like it, and I'm loving it.
I'm so glad to hear that. And yeah, so this is your first any capacity retreat. How would you say that it is meeting, exceeding, or not meeting your expectations?
I'd say it's meeting my expectations. I expected it to be a little awkward and uncomfortable because, like, especially virtual, like, it's always a little bit weird to make a connection virtually at first. Like, you don't have that in person, face to face kind of connection, which I find easier. And then just like figuring out the platforms and stuff, like, it's been a little weird. But in terms of like meeting people and everyone being really nice and friendly and welcoming, it's been like exceeding my expectations actually. And then like I didn't know there was also going to be some like panels, and I've learned a lot and learned a lot of new floss tubers and stuff to follow. So it's been really, really good.
Speaking of all of the main stage events and the Flosstube lives, what has been the standout to you so far? I know there's still even a couple more scheduled, but what stood out to you?
The sunshine stitchers were so fun. I have never heard of them before. And it was like you're like best friends with them. Like you're in the room sitting with them. And that's the kind of Flosstube I love. Like, but they were still so knowledgeable on top of like having so much fun. Like it was worth every second being there. I loved their panel.
Yeah, I was literally like sitting in this room. I didn't feel like I was by myself, but just like cackling on my own. I was just like, they are cracking me up. And I love some of the sentiments that they had expressed about that they were more like process stitchers rather than like finisher stitchers. That I was like, you know what? I feel like we don't hear about that as frequently, and to just take the pressure off of needing a finish was kind of it was refreshing, and they were so entertaining.
So fun. I was like, oh, I gotta go get a drink now. Like I want to be drinking friends with them. Like I loved it.
I know. I saw somebody commented saying something along the lines of like, came here for cross stitch tips, didn't expect to learn how to infuse my own tequila.
I loved it.
Aside from the sessions, what has been your favorite part of the online stitch experience, whether it was the speed dating, the stitching tables, the shopping?
It's been the tables for me. I tried the speed dating. It wasn't for me. It's a little too awkward. I'm awkward and shy. It was not for me. The tables though, you can kind of like go in, sit, lurk a little bit, get the vibe of the table, stay if you want, leave if you want, and then like kind of like slowly open up. And like I was just in a table before coming here, and like we're already like mutuals on Instagram, like besties. Like it's like it's less pressure to meet someone through a table, I find, because you have other people to kind of break the ice too, and that's been really fun.
What are you stitching on this weekend? I know we've already talked about it a little bit, but would love to see what your stitching has been.
Okay, so I had a finish this weekend. I had a finish at my first ever retreat. Like wow. I finished. I'm pattern testing this for, I don't know if I'm in the camera or not. Pattern testing this for a friend on Instagram. It's K for Curlia. My lighting is horrible. I'm so sorry.
No, it's perfect.
So I finished that, and then I started my next self-drafted, which I'm so excited. I'm calling it Hardworking Family, and it's an homage to one of my favorite Pokemon, Nuzhold. And I'm very, very happy about it.
It is turning out so well, and the blue fabric was an elite choice. You really, you killed it.
I saved myself 6,000 stitches by choosing blue fabric. So
6,000 stitches of the exact same floss, which would have been a test to the
that would have, I might have gone insane. You might not have heard from me again.
Are you planning on attending any other virtual events in the future?
I think so. Everyone's talking about Jingle Ball, and I'm like, I need to get in on this Jingle Ball. This sounds crazy.
I know.
It's apparently like yoga and stuff, and I'm like, I'm into that.
I was thinking the same thing. It sounds like it is like the one to attend as far as the Lindy Stitches events go. So I will be there. I'm super excited about it already.
I will probably be there.
As a first-time virtual retreat attender, what is some advice that you would give to somebody who is on the fence about participating and can't decide if they want to gamble on it?
I would say just gamble on it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, you lose $15, but at least you like know for the future. Like, you're not going to regret it. And also just like, don't put so much pressure on yourself to be like top socializer of the day in your table. Like I think I kind of went into the tables with that at the start, where I was like, I have to be so social and so friendly, and like people have to like me. But now, like the second day of this, I'm kind of just like going in and just like chatting if I want to, if not, and like it's a lot less pressure, and I feel less awkward. Like I'm just me instead of trying to put on a face. So just relax and breathe, and you'll be okay. Just shout out to everyone that I've met these past 2 days. This has been lovely. Shout out to you for putting me on this, because this has been really fun. And shout out to Lindy Stitches for throwing it.
My name is Milka, and I have a Flosstube. It's Mega Stitches and on YouTube.
I was curious to know what brought you to Midsummer Stitch 2025.
Well, honestly, I've been to other events from Lindy Stitches, and I found so many friends. My first Jingle Ball, I was so happy, honestly. I made a Zoom group, like, I don't know, a community of maybe like 12 plus people. And it was just nice, you know, like you could get in contact with them still. Yeah, I liked it. So I keep coming to these events. It's practical. You're at your house, you know, you can dress however you want. You're not gonna show up with makeup. So it's just convenient too. And you see your friends. So
I totally agree. Picture yourself right before your very first online Stitch event. What was going through your head before you decided to take the plunge and attempt something that sounds kind of crazy, like meeting strangers on the internet?
yeah. Oh wow. No, girl. I was going bananas, first of all, because I wanted to have a perfect setup on the background. You know, I was going to do whip dating and all that stuff. And my first jingle ball, I put a bunch of whips, a bunch of finishes like right here. And yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to go to any tables. I feel so embarrassed. But yeah, that went off very quickly. Like, you know what I mean? Like it just passed. So.
For sure. What would you say is your favorite part of a virtual Stitch event?
Well, the fact that I'm at home and I'm chilling, I have all my materials close by and I don't have to worry about packing. And I can still see people, international stitchers that I don't get to see in a retreat that is either local or is in the United States where I'm located. So I think that's my favorite part.
I think your first point is such an underrated part of the online Stitch retreat aspect is that your stuff is already here and you don't have to worry
Yeah.
about forgetting something. Because I definitely forgot stuff when I went to my first in-person retreat. So an added
Mhm.
bonus. No worries about that. Could you show us a little bit about what you are currently stitching on?
Oh, sure. I put this, it doesn't have much stitching on, so I'm gonna show you what I was stitching before. This little one that I'm working on right now. This is a release kit, and I I honestly just have the Eiffel towel
Oh,
that,
wow.
and it's very pretty. It's going to be full coverage, so I'm still working on that slowly, but I have a lot of whips, so I just
Were you able to attend many of the lives or main stage sessions?
I attended to the Darcy and Jacob one, and I was very, very interested to see their interaction because I watched Darcy all the time since his Flosstube started, and he always gives Jacob a hard time. So, but they were proper, you know, like toned down. I was expecting that Darcy was gonna give him a hard time, but they were professional, you know. I think everybody should come to any retreat. You know what I mean? Like, I think everybody's very welcoming. And if not, like Lindy Stitches was saying, you know, there's a code of conduct in here where you can feel safe. And I just come as you are, stitch and you're stitching, share with us so we can be all enabled. And yeah, I mean, this is a great time. So I was very happy to have this little interview that was very sporadic because I didn't know. So this is raw of people, you know, very chill.
Thank you for being such a good sport. Okay, this is me checking in at the end of Midsummer Stitch 2025. It is officially 1 a.m. I did not expect to be logging off so late this evening, but I just kept having conversations with people that I have been speaking with online for a little while, or I had met at Stitch rooms or speed dating, that I just wanted to keep the conversation going and I didn't want it to end. So here we are, way past my bedtime, but I'm so grateful to have met so many people and had so many wonderful conversations. And I think my social battery and energy is so drained at this point that I don't think it is totally sunken in what a busy and wonderful, spectacular day it was today. I honestly don't even remember what the last check-in I did with you here. But I guess the last few things that happened this evening were a couple more sessions, a couple more speed dating rounds. I sat in some stitchy rooms, and then of course the big finish parade, which was so lovely to see all of the beautiful finishes that everybody was gracious enough to share. I don't think that I'm going to make much sense this evening trying to do a final thoughts recap, so I'll give it a shot now. I'm probably gonna have to redo this tomorrow or whenever I do some editing, but what a great event. Stephanie and the whole Lindy Stitches team, you guys are awesome. You guys rock. This was a lot of fun. It exceeded all of my expectations. I feel like my cup is so full. My heart is so full. I feel like my stitchy bug has been reignited, and have so many ideas and more wish list items, and I've learned so much and different tips and tricks from everybody that I met. So what a great event. So thank you. I hope that whatever I've put together for this video ended up making sense. I kind of went in with zero plan and not sure how this turned out. So I think I'll definitely be attending more online Stitch events in the future. So if you guys like this style of taking you with me on an online retreat, let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to take you to the next one, because I definitely have some on my radar. For now, I'm going to sign off, and thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to seeing you next time.